Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I do not have a bingo, but Fab is going to get rid of my non-bingo-y tiles and leave me with a decent rack leave. Now, this looks pretty close to a bingo. There'll be a number of 8-letter bingos with these letters. Is there a 7? These are such high probability tiles that any 7-letter bingo that I don't spot will be a huge miss. I've got so many prefixes and suffixes, ed ending, IER ending. Okay, I have got ebriated as an 8 through the B, that's just been blocked. Now my opponent has blocked most of the floaters and only provided an E, which I already have 2 of. So I don't think there's a bingo through that E. If I had a 7, it would certainly play in column 12, making non-A. Okay, I can't see a 7. I don't have an 8 ending with an F. There may be something through AN or BO. It's very hard to spot 9-letter bingos. I haven't studied them. Just mentally imagining AN on my rack. Can't see anything through that. BO is far less promising. So, how do I sort this rack out? Now I could play in row H. Going on to the triple word square at H15, that's probably best. It is going to wreck the rack leave though. Wow, this is tricky. If I played Ada, only 23 points, so maybe I should play in row J, either rows J or G. So, I could play day across here. 18 points and a pretty good rack leave. Yeah. Now, I do not have a 7-letter bingo here. I do have brute, which I could play in row H at H11 above double E. 29 points, that's pretty good. It would leave a rack leave of EI, so it would be a vulnerable rack leave. Okay, my opponent has lost contact or quit. I'm going to pause the video until he returns. Okay, my opponent has returned after about 2 minutes away. Now if brute is blocked, and it is, I do have buriti in row G, buriti and if. I don't have anything to go underneath nag. Now I could play above eel with my T. So I could play tribe, but that's keeping IU. Now how bad is that? 28 points for tribe and teal. About 16 points for buriti and if. If I played tuba, I would keep double I. I could also place my R above eel. So I could play rebit, but that's really the same as tribe. Well, this is a terrible rack leave, but I don't think I can justify the point sacrifice in playing Buriti, and Buriti also provides a lot of scoring opportunities for my opponent. Yeah, that's the risk of keeping two vowels, is that you add to them. I've now got a pretty awful rack. If I can play Uoi, then I'll have a rack leave of A-E-R, which is good. At the moment, Uoi plays, well, it plays in the Buriti spot, Uoi and F, but it's placing an E immediately above a double letter square, providing a very good opportunity for my opponent. For only 11 points. Now, 32 points for my opponent, that's good for him. I do have Auri as well as Uoi, which I could play in column 14. 20 points, that's certainly better than changing. It's quite an open play because Auri takes a T in front, and possibly some other letters. C and an L as well, perhaps. But column 15 isn't too dangerous because the R only takes an E after it. Okay, I'm a long way away from a bingo, but it's a fairly balanced rack. And I've got some good scoring tiles, and the C and K have got some synergy. What this board doesn't have is a lot of scoring opportunities. I could play Vicar onto the R of Auri. That's only 20 points. It's certainly a priority to play off the V. Nag takes an A after it, but Teal only takes an S, I think. Great, only 13 points for my opponent. Vicar, the Vicar spot stays available. And that will leave a rack leave of A-E-K, which is not good. Now, what about playing Carver down here? Rack leave's a bit nicer. And 27 points is much better than Vicar. Yeah, that's fine. Great, I draw the first blank. But do I have a bingo? Slightly tricky with the C, G and Y, but I've got the ILY ending, I've got the LY ending, I've got the ING ending with the blank as an N. Not too many floaters to play with. Onto an A I would have glycemia, and there is the A of Carver, which may stay available because K takes nothing in front of it, and nor does the V. Great, so I have glycemia, yes I do. What else is available? I don't think I have a 7, so I've really got the two new floaters to consider, the D and the U. Okay, can't see anything with the D or the U, but I may be struggling to see something given that I have already spotted something. Glycemia 66. And this isn't a bingo-y rack. It's balanced in terms of vowels and consonants, but I've got the UW combination, which is very unsynergetic. And the F is also a non-bingo-y tile. It would be nice to play off the F, the U, and the W, but that is going to be a stretch. Now, looking at the scores, I have a lead of 44 points, which is quite slender. I'm looking to see if I can use the triple word square at A8. Can't see a way of doing that. And also the triple word square at H1. Nope, can't see a way of using that. And I'm also looking around to see if there are any good premium squares. Now there is the Y of glycemia. My F could go above that. But not in a way that scores a lot of points. I've got 12 minutes left and there's only 37 tiles left in the bag. So I'd like to try and get this move right. WOF is good, W-O-F. The trouble with this rack is I'm struggling to see any moves. It's not a matter of choosing between moves, it's struggling to see any. I could play few at above the E of glycemia. Only 13 points. I could play defo. Well, let's see what that scores at H1. 31 points, but it's keeping the UW combination. But it's a lot of points. And it's providing a couple of good floaters for my opponent. I may regret this. And there may be a play through the U of Duroc. A play beginning out. What would that look? Well, I can't see a word stretching to the double word square at K5. 34 points is a lot of points. I don't like retaining the W and the U, but I note there are no U's left, so although there is one W, so this rack isn't going to get hugely worse, I hope. Great. No duplicate tiles, balanced in terms of vowels and consonants, and I've got a good scoring tile in the X. And my opponent's challenged, so he loses 5 points. I should be able to split up the W and the U this go. Wox is good. That plays at I3 for not many points. Can't see a way of using the triple word square at A8. In fact, this whole board is pretty blocked. I don't go out to have blocked boards, although sometimes if I'm ahead I will seek to tighten the board up, but sometimes blocked boards just appear. Part of the problem is glycemia. G is not a good tile for taking letters before or after it, although it does take an O and a U after it, and an A and a U in front. I think it's also the 4 consonant beginning to glycemia, which is an inhibitor of parallel plays. Wox and wux are the 2 short words which use the W and the X. Wox and wex. Okay, that takes the spot I was thinking about playing. Wox. I could play it at C9 down, wex, but only 17 points. That's not very good. Now, my opponent in column 2 has provided the ED ending. So I'm just seeing if I've got a word beginning at B2. No, outwexed is not good. Ah, well, let's just see what this scores. 32 points. Pretty good. And the Rackleeb, although it's slightly vowel heavy and has a U, has a degree of synergy. If I can avoid duplicate tiles and pick up a couple of consonants, I could be close to a bingo. Okay, well, that didn't quite work out, but it wasn't disastrous. I picked up one consonant. Ah, out eats is good. Does out eats nags? Fantastic. Out eats nags. Yes. Now, do I have something better? There is a bingo lane in column 5, but I don't think out eats has got any anagrams. So I'm looking at column 1 onto the D of defo, and I'm drawn to the out prefix, so out seated. No, don't think that's good. Well, it would be out sated, and that isn't good. I think I'll take out eats. And there's still a blank unseen, so maybe I'll draw it. Out eats and nags, 71. Crucial time to get a bingo. I don't draw the blank, but it's a balance rack and I've got a good scoring tile in the J. I've got Jaeger at K8 if my opponent doesn't take that spot. And I've got Jog at K3 across, making oo and goo. Okay, good score by my opponent. But I've got a 90-point lead, which is pretty good since I'm on turn. I'm certainly the favourite to win this. Let's have a look at Jog, see what this scores. I'm attracted to this over Jaeger because Jaeger provides 2 really good floaters and the remaining tiles are very bingo-y, especially with 3 S's and a blank unseen and 3 E's. The only non-bingo-iness about the remaining tiles is it looks like there may be a preponderance of vowels. 9 out of 22. Okay, there isn't even that, so it's a bingo-y rack. In which case, a bingo-y bag. In which case, Jog is a lot better than Jaeger. Jaeger would have scored 39 points, and it would have... Oh, well, I couldn't have played Jaeger anyway. I don't have an E. Yeah. Now the score for Jog is good and the Rackleeb is fine. Just pausing in case there's a 50-point play somewhere for my J that I wouldn't want to miss by rushing. And also I could play at one slot along, making Joe and Ow. So is there a word beginning J-O-A? Well, there's Gay-Joe, isn't there? Gay-Joe. Let's see what this scores. 37 points. Now that's the benefit of pausing and not rushing in. Jog was a great play, but Gay-Joe is a better one. Okay, I still don't draw the blank, but it's balanced and I have scoring tiles in the P and the M. I am sort of checking in my mind to see if I can think of a bingo with these tiles. I think the only floaters are to consider are the D of defo and the W and I of winch. Okay, 6 tiles left and they are exceptionally bingo-y. And I'm 100 points ahead, so if I can keep the score going, then I should be able to survive a bingo. I've got 5 minutes left. Tar does take an M after it, but any play beginning with that M is going to open up row O. But that may not be a problem if I can survive a bingo, because as it stands, row N is a bingo lane, but it's not going to even be doubled, let alone tripled. But column 1 is very attractive to my opponent given the tiles that are left. Now, should I play down column 8 through the A of out eats? Do I have a play which works in that spot? More and Moira. Okay, they don't work. Well, I can't see a play which works there. So, should I place my M here? So I could... Wow, gosh, this is tricky. I could play Moil. There's no high-scoring tiles left apart from the M, so I don't really need to worry about placing my I above a triple word square. Moil, only 23 points, and I'm providing a great opportunity for my opponent. But 23 points would give me a 120-point lead. That should be enough. But I wouldn't want to gift a bingo to my opponent. That feels a bit gifty. Now, what about Implored? I think the trouble with this is that I'm emptying the bag. So if my opponent bingos, he ends the game. 30 points. 30 points, my opponent bingos in row N. The game's over. He's not going to get 130 points. I'm going to win by a big margin. Yeah, I don't think I can stop my opponent bingoing. He's almost certainly does have a bingo. So what I'd like to do is score well, but only play off 5 tiles. Can I do that? Playing off 5 tiles would leave 1 in the bag. I don't think the W and the I of winch are particularly dangerous. The bingo lanes really are column 1 and row N. I certainly can't block both. I think I'm going to take the points. Or am I? My opponent is going to bingo. It's hard to imagine a subset of those tiles that isn't a bingo. Well, okay, this isn't the strongest part of my game, but since Implored does guarantee the win, I think I'm going to play it. I mean, winning the game is certainly the priority. Well, I think... okay, can my opponent bingo? He doesn't have a 7. He would have to be through the eye of winch, I think. Great. So, I wasn't expecting to play again. I've only got a minute left. I've drawn the blank. Do I have a bingo? It would be... I don't think I have a 7. I don't think I've got anything through the W, which is the only consonant floater. Okay, so my opponent's going to go out. My opponent's lost contact or quit. I will pause and rejoin you when he returns. Well, welcome back. My opponent did not return. The game has been adjudicated in my favour. The final score 268 to my opponent, 376 to me, a winning margin of 108 points. I was going to play IO, which was probably not best, but the game was won. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first, and a baft for 22. Well, Fab is a better play. It only scores a little bit less, and the rack leave is a lot better than the than DE. Great, I didn't miss a bingo, and this was the problem. This was a really good rack, very close to a bingo, but if you play off 5 tiles, you're suddenly leaving yourself drawing 5 random tiles, which has no certainty of a bingo, or even of being close to a bingo. So I think playing off 3 tiles was better than playing off 5. But I was not rewarded on this occasion. All of the moves suggested here don't score great and have pretty ropey rack leaves, so I think Tribe is as good as any of them. Oh, my opponent had no vowels, so they were struggling at that point. I had 6 of them. And yeah, Ori or Auri at B14 look best. And Baki for 41, I didn't consider that. Where's that? Oh wow, pretty impressive. Baki coming down from the B of Tribe, making Tsar and Galik. Okay, it does stop 1 letter short of a double word square, so if my opponent had an S, they'd score highly, but 41 points is a lot. Having said that, 32 for Carver isn't too far behind. Glycemia was my bingo. Glyceria I didn't see, but would also have played in the same spot. This was a tricky rack. I played Defo for 31, but the rack leave was pretty awful. I could have played Fouette in the same spot for 2 more points and split up the U and the W, so Fouette would have been better. Fortunately, I had quite a kind draw. Now, wow, there's some pretty high-scoring plays there. What did I do? Oh, well, I did Wex for 32, keeping EOS to U. That's actually, yeah, that's probably as good as any of the other alternatives suggested there. Yeah, out eats was the only bingo. So glad to have spotted that. And Geijo at K2 looks best. This is where I played Implored for 30. Now the suggestion there of MOI for 22 is not good. It's not scoring hugely well, and it's opening up row O. Although my opponent didn't have a bingo, they were pretty unfortunate not to have one. I don't know if Implored was best. It was certainly a winning play, but then most of the plays there guarantee the win. So my opponent played Merles, and what did I have? Well, 04 Obese. Okay, certainly better than my IO prospective play, but no bingos available on this rack and nothing hugely fabulous. So, an interesting game. I hope you enjoyed watching that. Couple of bingos and a few interesting spots. I think pausing over the jog move and spotting Geijo was a useful lesson, not to seize a good play but to look for a better one. And I think also the Carver play and the Wex play were interesting moves where there weren't too many good options, but it is worthwhile spending the time trying to get the best possible rack leave, because that's what contributes to bingos and gives you an edge over your opponent. So I hope you enjoyed watching that video and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.